All right, it's almost 1 p.m. So we will get started right on time, everyone. Looks like we got about 30 seconds to go. Interesting, we've got like 3 or 4 people from Chicago. I will actually, next weekend, my daughter, it's pretty cool. My daughter is going to play college volleyball. She just graduated this year. And I will actually be I'll be passing through Chicago on my way to Rockford, Illinois for her first college volleyball tournament. So kind of cool. Just interesting. We've got like 4 or 5 people from Chicago. So anyway, all right, there it is. It's 1 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Lot to go over today. We're going to be talking about, the number one trade patterns and trade setups. And another Chicago. What the heck? I guess we have to organize a meetup in Chicago. But what are the? I mean, obviously Chicago's a big city, but what are the odds? There's 5 people from Chicago. There's about 50 of you here. 10% of the attendees are from Chicago. Interesting. Anyway, welcome, my friends. So we're here on your screen is today's agenda. It says reviewing today's market action. I should have obviously updated my deck. It is Saturday, but we will be reviewing yesterday's market action because obviously the stock market is closed today, so we can't review today's market. And then we're going to be going over a watch list, the biggest stocks to look for Monday. We're going to be talking about the top strategies for trading this kind of August period. Like, listen, drives me nuts. A lot of people want to talk about, August being slow. And I'm like, I don't know what you people are talking about because like if you think August is slow, there's always this like summer lull myth. And listen, actually the summer lull wasn't a myth pre-2020, okay? And even 2016. I mean, the market completely changed in 2016 and then doubly completely changed in 2020. Like the summer lull doesn't exist. Now, listen, are there fewer opportunities during August? Yeah, but I mean, listen, we had a GNS yesterday. I had an entry trade alert on GNS at $1. It went to $1.42. I mean, a 42% gain in like an hour. Okay. There was a bunch of quantum computing plays. RGTI, IONQ. There's like half a dozen quantum computing plays. So it's like, if you know what to look for, sure, there's less trades, but most of you, I'm going to assume, are part-time traders. You can't place 50 trades a day. I mean, you've got a job. Like I tell all new traders, all part-time traders, your goal should be, and actually, guys, by the way, please get out a notepad. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. I'm going to ask you to write some stuff down. But like your job as a new and or part-time trader, which I'm guessing probably a lot of you are both, your goal should be 0 to 3 trades a day. Now, and I said that right. 0 to 3 trades. Like as a part-time trader, as a new trader, you have to. Your number one goal is focusing on the best opportunities. The best, okay? And if there's nothing great, that means you don't trade, especially if you're under, like some of you may be under the pattern day trader rule. If you're under the pattern day trader rule, you have to be selective. You can't just be trading random setups. So this may sound funny, but when it comes to coaching and mentoring newer traders, I like when there aren't 50 runners, okay? I mean, you go back to like winter and spring, and it'll be like that again this fall, okay? Keep in mind, summer is the slowest period. I expect this fall and winter to be crazier than last fall and winter, and last fall and winter was absolutely insane for opportunity. But when it comes to like mentoring and teaching, I prefer that there aren't as many plays because it becomes too much. When there's all these sectors and all these stocks moving, a lot of newer traders simply lock up and they don't know which one to trade. So get excited. Like get excited that you're here to learn to trade in a slower period. And it actually teaches you good discipline and good processes as we head into the fall. So that's the agenda for today. Let's go over kind of getting started, getting everything set up. So going back to yesterday, let me kind of review the best trades from yesterday. Going to start with RGTI. So this is, let me go to my notes, okay? So right here's my notes for today. The top, I shouldn't say the number one, the top 4 sectors you need to be watching for Monday, for August, and really going into the fall are artificial intelligence. Okay. And guys, at the end of the webinar, I will give you a link to these notes, but I like you to write them down. If you can, write down the notes, keep track of, what we're doing here today. So, but anyway, artificial intelligence, quantum computing. Again, I think we had 4 or 5 big runners in quantum computing. Earnings winners. Okay. We're in the middle of earnings season. We have had some explosive earnings winners, and earnings season is going to continue for about the next, well, let me look at the calendar, about the next 2 or 3 weeks. Let me go here, earnings calendar. And we look at, when we talk about earnings, the earnings calendar, we're looking at the number of stocks announcing earnings. So if you look at next week, we're looking at, we've got 700, there's 1,000. So you've got about 1,200 stocks announcing earnings next week. Now, we don't try and trade all of them. I just want to explain that next week you got about 1,200 stocks. The week after that, we got about 500. And then you go into September, we got about 400. And then basically that first week of September, we still got a couple hundred stocks announcing earnings. So we've got about 3 to 4 weeks of earnings season ahead of us, and then they kind of, peter out from there. So we've got thousands of stocks announcing earnings over the next 3 or 4 weeks. You need to know how to get, how to identify the best ones. Like, listen, I hope all of you, as soon as I said thousands of stocks, okay, I hope all of you said to yourself, whoa, wait a minute. How do I know which ones? That's what we're going to talk about today. Because most of the stocks, let's say there's 2,000 announcing. Probably 1,500 of them aren't really going to do anything, okay? Probably 100 of them will be very tradable, very liquid, low priced, so that most of you can trade those. So what we want to talk about today, and the tools I want to give you, is giving you the ability to filter out the other 1,900 and only focus on the 100, over the next 3 or 4 weeks. Now, again, you should have said, wait, that's still a lot. That's the goal of what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you access to education and tools and screeners that get you down to 3-4 a day, and then ultimately, if those 3 or 4 are your watches, those are your main ideas, then I'm going to teach you how to write a trade plan, and then we only trade the ones that follow the plan, which ideally ends up being 1 or 2 a day. Okay. So don't be afraid of the fact that there's thousands of earnings winners. I'll give you the tools to identify the best ones. And then bankruptcy plays. Listen, one of the best runners yesterday, AMRS, is a bankruptcy play. So let's review yesterday real quick. And so I'll go back to the fact that RGTI was a quantum computing play. We had an entry signal on this at $1.99. Okay. In advance of the move, stock went up to 275. That's a 38% run. This is from yesterday. RGTI quantum computing play. And I'm just going to go over some of the best guys, just for the sake of time. Then we've also got AMRS. This is a bankruptcy play. Many of you might have seen Yellow Trucking. Yell was one of the best plays for about 3 straight weeks. Did anybody trade Yell over the last few weeks? YELL, bankruptcy play. Again, probably. And then there's also another bankruptcy play, Tupperware. Tupperware is probably going to end up going bankrupt. Tupperware and Yellow, probably the 2 best stocks over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And they've been actionable trades, 90% of days. So anyway, AMRS had an entry signal at 13 cents. went up to 19 cents. That's a 53% potential move. Bankruptcy play, by the way. And then IONQ, this is another quantum computing play. Listen, higher price stock, still went up $1 a share though, okay? So like something like IONQ, sure, it didn't move 30, 40, 50, 100%, but this is a higher price stock. What's nice about the higher price stocks, you don't have to sit there and watch them every second of the day. You know, look at this thing. Look at just the nice uptrend on this. Now, we love the low priced volatile movers, but sometimes, you know, you like if you've day traded these huge movers, you know, you take a phone call and all of a sudden the stock reverses and it's scary, hits your stop, etc. Now, if you know how to trade them, we love those because those are the ones that run 30, 40, 50, 100, 1,000%. We had a 3,000% runner this week, guys. By the way, did anybody trade VTGN on Monday? VTGN on Monday, I had a buy signal in the mentorship team that we're going to talk about today, had a buy signal at $5.50. Guys, it went from $5 to 60 in pre-market. Okay. Let me go back to that 5-day chart here. So basically it went from $5.50 all the way up to $60.25, a 3,000% runner on Monday. Okay. So those are great. We love to trade those stocks, but man, they're not the ones you can walk away, you know, and take a 45-minute phone call on. You have to be locked in. What's great about something like IONQ, you know, look at this, just nice gradual uptrend, $1 a share, over almost $1.50 a share of upside. I mean, hey, let's say you had 100 shares, $150, not bad for a small account. Maybe you have 1,000 shares. That's a $1,500 profit. And again, just a nice gradual uptrend. So those are some of the best. One more. GNS. How did I forget about GNS? Probably my favorite one. So GNS, this is a scam bankruptcy play as well. Again, I went over this one live at noon, and 92-cent entry went up to $1.43, and man, that was 55% gain on GNS. And another just nice uptrender. And what's nice about GNS is, you know, $1 stock. Okay. So think about this, 50 cents of upside. You could have had, you know, 1,000 shares, which would only be $1,000 position, not a huge position, and made $500. Hell, you could have had $100 position and made $50. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, again, I don't know the size of your account. These are the types of stocks we want to trade. So GNS, again, probably the number one opportunity. And again, we had an alert at 92 cents. I went over it on a live webinar at $1 a share. Actually, I'll show you the notes. So I recognized some names. Some of you might have been on that webinar. So yesterday at noon, GNS entry we went over live at $1, 92-cent stop, and then a goal of 120, and it went to $1.40. So Carol Lee says, is he just going to go over the past? No, So Carol Lee, keep in mind, let me go back to the agenda. So Carol Lee, I get what you're saying. You're like, are we just here to talk about the past? Okay. No. Okay. The reason I'm talking about yesterday is I want to show you these are what we're going to try and find on Monday. Okay. So Carol Lee, it's a very valid question. Like, listen, I've been on webinars, I've been to conferences, and all they do is talk about the past. And I'm guessing, Carol Lee, you've been there too, where all they do is talk about last week, last month, last year. I get it. It's a very valid question. But the point is, the reason what I'm getting at is all of these were artificial intelligence plays. All of these were bankruptcy plays, quantum computing, earnings winners, etc. So I want to show you the potential, as well as basically I'm explaining to you why we're looking at these next week. So, but again, valid question. And then one more, and then I'll move on. I don't want Carol Lee to get mad at me. IONQ, Or whoops, nope, I already went over INQ. I guess I went over all of them. Okay, I thought I missed one. Nope, that's it. So those were basically the 4 best plays from yesterday. And to be clear, all of them fit into the criteria that we're looking for Monday. Okay. Going back to the notes, they all fit into one of these buckets. Every single one of those stocks fit into one or multiple. Some of them were in multiples of these buckets. Okay. Every single one of those stocks that were the best plays yesterday and the best plays for Monday morning are going to be in these 4 buckets. Okay. So that's what I want you to look at. So next is, the patterns, how to trade them, getting ready for next week. And then I'm going to give you all those patterns, et cetera, everything. So let's talk about a little bit before we get into the how to. I want to talk a little bit about the why. Okay. So hear me out. We're going to get into the how to. Okay. I'm going to give you a lot of, actionable information for Monday. But one thing I do want to spend a little bit of time on is the why. Okay. Why do we trade these stocks? Why are we looking at, these hot sectors and these, explosive volume plays? And then the what, like the how, the why, the what. Okay. That's what I want you to walk out of here with. Okay. I want you having higher confidence. I want you having a firm grasp on what your trading goals are. I want you to have an outline for this weekend, for Monday, for what you're going to do to get 1% better every day. I'm going to help you isolate areas which you feel you're struggling. And here's the deal. I'm going to give you solutions to all 4 of these. Okay. So let me know. And actually, I'm going to take the chat private, guys. Thank you for all the discussion in chat, but I'm going to start asking some personal questions. And I want you guys to feel careful or comfortable answering those. So the chat is now private. Okay. Thank you for all the input for the first, 10, 15 minutes here. But now I took the chat private because I want you to feel comfortable answering these questions. And the reason I want you to ask them or answer them is I want to help you trade and I want to help you fix these problems. And I also want you to be able to identify your problems. So right off the bat, how's your confidence level in your trading? Like yesterday, today, how's your confidence level? 1 to 10. How comfortable do you feel making trades on a scale of 1 to 10? I also dropped the poll, okay? So if you're not comfortable answering the question, that's great. Also, give me an answer to that poll, okay? The poll says, are you getting the money you want out of trading? Give me a yes or no. The poll is anonymous. So I see a 5, I see a 1, a 2, a 4, a 0. Thank you, Camille. I appreciate the honesty. Camille says her confidence is 0. Okay. Thank you, guys. Now, I want you to write that down. Okay. Write down your number and write it down for yourself. Okay. So my next question is, and we'll move on, but I want you to be thinking about this. What is it worth it to you to raise your confidence? Okay. I see a lot of 2s and 3s and a 4 and a 6. Okay. What would it be worth to you to take that confidence level from a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4 to an 8 or a 9 or maybe a 10? Okay. Think about that. Write that down. Next, what are your goals? Now, I want you to write this one down too, guys. Listen, I'm a paper guy. I'm a big goal guy. I'm a big mindset kind of guy. And I think these things are important to understand. Okay. What is your why of trading? Okay. And I don't want you to answer money. Okay. Because I want you thinking bigger picture. To me, money is a tool. Okay. maybe you know me, maybe you don't. My name is Tim Bowen, by the way. I'm the lead trainer at the Stocks to Trade, and also the Tim Sykes Challenge. So if you know me, you know my bio. I sold my business about 10 years ago. I was working too much. I was missing time with my kids. Like, to me, trading is about freedom, and the money gives me freedom. So being able to make money in the stock market allows me to take days off when I want to, allows me to go to that volleyball tournament next week for my daughter. You know, like, listen, if I was working a day, if you were here early, we talked about that before the start of the webinar. My daughter's playing college volleyball, but like, well, hey, trading allows me to pay for a college too, by the way. But like, to me, trading is all about freedom. Now, you might have different goals. Maybe you want to pay off debt. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe retirement income. But what I would like you to do is write down your big picture why. Like, what's your why? And I don't want it to be just make money. Okay. Like, why do you want to make money? And I know that might sound like a corny question, but like, why? Okay. What are you going to do with it? Are you just going to put it in the bank and, you know, be homeless? Okay. What do you want to accomplish? What's your why? Now, the next question, and I'd like you to put this in the chat if you feel comfortable doing it. What are you doing each day to get 1% better? One of my mottos is I am constantly striving to get 1% better every single day. And guys, understand, if you can get 1% better in your trading every single day, like just a little bit better, like you learn what hot sectors are, you learn a new scan, you learn how to take a stop loss. If you learn all of these small things, then 1% better a day, people think it's like 365% better. It's not. It's 3,650% better. So do you think, all of you that were saying you have a confidence level of 1, of 2, of 3, of 4, do you think if you could join a program, a boot camp, a mentorship, if you could get a coach, if you could get access to the tools that would allow you to get just 1% better a day, do you think you could accomplish your why? Let me know in chat. Yes or no? Going from your why and your confidence level, if you could get 1% better for an entire year, which makes you 3,650% better, do you think you'd be closer to your why? So, also write down the areas in which you're currently struggling. We can do Q&A at the end. So, Jeanette says, remind us how to find the float. Listen, we will do Q&A at the end. Jeanette, right here in your Stocks to Trade, the float's right here. So, right here, guys, every single stock, I know it might be kind of small, but you can see VTGN, 7.8 million float. You know, if I go to Apple, I mean, easy question. You know, right there's the float for Apple, 15.7 billion shares, but it's right there on your screen in your Stocks to Trade. So, bunch of you saying yes. Yes, nice. So, let me go back here. So anyway, again, write down the reasons you think you're struggling. And remember with Q&A, guys, actually, if you could do me a favor, you've got a Q&A button. So I want to kind of stay focused and stay on the agenda, but you can hit that Q&A button and drop questions as we move along. Because by doing that, then I can kind of, at the end of the webinar, I can jump over and go through the Q&A, and that allows me to kind of stay focused. So every trader needs a strong foundation of knowledge, patterns, recognizing the trends, understanding technical indicators, executing effectively, managing emotions, and recovering from a big loss. List goes on and on. The reason 90% of traders fail is they don't properly prepare. They don't have the study materials. They don't have the mentorship. They don't have someone to hold them accountable, etc. So, and at the end of the day, there's a steep learning curve when it comes to trading. It took me years, okay? So I started trading in about 2004, 2005. I was trading real stocks then. So I'd like to say I didn't really start day trading until about 2006. But from 2006 to about 2009, I was not profitable. Okay. So it took me 3 years to get profitable. 3 years. And I only got profitable when I found a mentor. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Doing it on my own, I mean, I made a lot of money, but I lost more. Okay. Like, actually, let me know how many of you right now, like one of the biggest things that I could, that once I started day trading these volatile stocks about 2006, like I very quickly could make money. I could make money, but the problem was I lost more. Like there's an old trading quote, and I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to paraphrase. But the old trading quote goes, making money isn't hard. Keeping it is. Okay, one more time. Making money isn't hard. Keeping it is. That was me before I found a mentor. I'd make $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. Okay, I could make thousands of dollars in a matter of minutes. But guess what happened next day? You know, if I made $5,000 yesterday, I lost 5,500 the next day. Or I make 500 and I lose 1,500 or something like. So that was me. How many of you are there right now? Can you make money, but then you fail to keep it? And so much of that was not having a mentor, not having accountability, not having someone guide me through the trade. So at the end of the day, the limitations of self-learning are lack of structure. Okay. You know, think about learning anything on your own. Okay. Think about learning anything on your own. If you don't know, you know, if you have no structure, then, you know, you might eventually figure it out. Like with enough time, like think about, I don't know why this came to mind, rebuilding an engine. Okay. I'm not really a mechanic. I'm more of a carpenter for hobbies, but I don't know why that came to mind. Like you could eventually figure out how to rebuild an engine, but could you do it a lot quicker if you got some mechanic that shows you how to do it? Okay. So the limitations of self-learning are no structure. Like you don't even know what you should be studying. You know, at the end of the day, you'll hear people say, study, study, study. A lot of you are probably like, what am I even supposed to be studying? Like, okay, I understand I should be studying, but what do I study? So that lack of structure, no curriculum, no path, which then creates gaps in the knowledge and understanding, which when you've got something as complex as trading, those gaps, like if you don't know the float, okay? If you have no idea, like how many people know what the float is? Give me a yes or no. Hopefully all of you do. If you don't feel bad. How many of you know what VWAP is? How many of you know what the red to green line is? How many of you know what float rotation is? How many of you know what RSI is? Okay, like there's so many of these things that ultimately are very simple. Like with trading, one thing I want you guys to understand, this goes back to the 1% better. Trading is a complex system made up of very simple components. One more time. Trading is a very complex system made up of simple components. So this really goes back to that 1% better a day. Because if you're simply learning one more component, one of these simple concepts, again, what the float is, that's your 1%. And over a year, all of a sudden, you're now able to understand a very complex system simply by learning all of the simple components. That make sense? Give me a make sense in chat, if that makes sense. Now, the reason so many fail, because think about this. Like I'm sure all of you have heard 90% fail. The biggest reason 90% fail is they don't want to take that time to learn all of the simple concepts. Okay. They want it all now. Like they want everything. Like, listen, guys, I'm going to teach you a ton about trading today. I can't teach you everything. Okay. Like, understand, my friends. I hope you don't, like, I'm going to pack as much information into this hour together as possible. But if you think I can teach you everything about trading in an hour, wow. You need to reset, okay? I'll give you everything I got, but I can't do it in an hour. Now, I can do it in a year. I can do it in 6 months, okay? That I can do. So at the end of the day, doing it on your own is so time consuming. I used to spend about 4 to 5 hours a day when I got started trading. So when I got started trading, I started getting up at 5 in the morning. I had little kids and I had a business. So, you know, days and evenings were very busy. I mean, how many of you got little kids? I mean, hey, I love them. I miss my little kids. They're all, I'm officially an empty nester now. I miss the little ones. But you know, once they wake up, good luck studying the stock market. You know, good luck going through charts when you got a 3 and a 6-year-old running around, okay? So I started getting up at 5 in the morning, and I would study all the way until I went to my business, usually about, 9:30. So about 4 hours, like 4 hours a day. And for years, I don't even know if I made much headway. So that the problem is doing it on your own is so time consuming because you have to sift through all the vast amounts of information, which a lot may not even be relevant or accurate. And then the other thing is you have to understand risk management. Who understands risk management? So when I say risk management, that is small losses, big gains. That is determining your entries, exits, stop losses, and goals based on the chart. Do you guys know how to do that? Like when you buy a stock, do you know how to identify a good area to buy, or do you just buy randomly? Do you know how to identify good levels on a chart to take a stop? Do you know where to take profits? So I go back to GNS yesterday, guys. And GNS, guys, understand, I want to show you something. So this is a worksheet that I want you to screenshot if you can, or write down all of the criteria. So this is a worksheet we use every single day to spot the best trades. GNS, whether you traded it or not, guys, it checked every single box on this worksheet. Now, what this worksheet does, once you know how to use it, it allows you to spot the best trades in about 60 to 90 seconds. So this worksheet was inspired by my long journey of trading, as well as the OODA loop. Okay. Anybody familiar with John Boyd and the OODA loop? Yes, I'm a dork. Okay. Understand, my friends, I am a dork. I am a nerd. I am obsessed with learning. I am obsessed with helping others. I am obsessed with sharpening the sword every single day. So we get into some dorky stuff. If you're anybody familiar with the OODA loop, OODA, John Boyd, a fighter pilot, developed this. And it is very, very applicable to trading. And it's very applicable to that worksheet that we're going to go over. So basically what you're doing every single day is you start out at the observe phase. You observe, which means you're running your scanners, you're looking at the big stocks, you're breaking it down, figuring it out, okay? You're observing what is happening. You're looking at GNS or IONQ or RGTI or all of the best runners on Friday. You see the scans, you see the stocks, you observe that, but then you have to orientate. So that blue box, this middle blue box is exactly what this worksheet allows us to do. Now, he's talking about, he's got these 5 boxes in here. The 5 boxes translate over to the worksheet. So what happens is we run those stocks that we observe on our scans, the big gainers with float rotation, the big movers. Then if they make it through that gauntlet, okay, if they make it through that worksheet, we then decide, and with the decide portion of the OODA loop is the trade plan, okay? So we observe with the scans. You guys writing this stuff down? Who's taking notes? Who's taking notes? Give me a yes or no. The observe is our stock scans. That gives us the tickers. The orientate is the worksheet. The decide is the trade plan. And then the act is the actual implementation. That is the buying and the selling of the stock, or the shorting and the covering, or the trading of the put or the call, okay? That is how we flow through. Now, you guys may take hours. I don't know. It took me hours. When I was working on my own, going through this process, I didn't know about the OODA loop back then, okay? But I was spending hours and still failing to get through the OODA loop. What I will teach you to do is to get through the OODA loop in about 60 to 90 seconds and decide if it's a go or a no-go trade. Does everyone understand? So I know I'm throwing a lot at you. I hope you guys are taking notes, okay? Does everyone understand the idea of a go, no-go philosophy? Go/no-go. The idea behind the go, no-go idea is we don't trade every stock, okay? Like everyone knows that, right? Like, listen, Monday morning, there's going to be 200 stocks gapping up. We can't trade them all. We don't want to trade them all. So we have to have a process to decide whether this is a good or a bad opportunity. That's what the OODA loop does. That's what the worksheet does. So then we decide, is this a go or a no-go? So that's what the blue box does. That's what the worksheet does. Some of the stocks, maybe, let's say there's 50 artificial intelligence, quantum computing earnings winners on Monday. There might be 50 stocks that fit in those 4 buckets that I gave you. Do you think we could trade them all? Can we trade all 50 stocks? No, you can't, okay? Nor would you want to, okay? Because odds are 45 of them are poor opportunities. So if you can get through that process in a matter of seconds, takes me about 60 to 90 seconds. Now I've got a lot more repetitions, hence the reason I can get through so quick. All right, so guys, take notes. GNS. We're going to focus on GNS for most of the remaining of the webinar. Why are we focusing on GNS? Because it was an absolute perfect box checker, okay? So right off the bat, GNS, low float stock, okay? Right there, checks number 1 box. Was it up big? Yes, this thing's been running for multiple days. Let me bring up GNS. So GNS is 14 million float, which means it's a low float stock. This is day 1, 2, 3, 4. Friday was day 4 of the move, okay? And it was gapping up in pre-market. So it was gapping up from about 80 cents to $1. It was gapping up about 20% in pre-market. So right off the bat, we've now got a low float stock that was gapping up more than 10%. Next thing we look for is unusual volume, okay? The average volume for GNS is about 2 million shares. It was trading like 10 million in pre-market, and it traded 60 million shares through the day. And guys, again, to those of you that said, hey, Tim, you're just going over yesterday. Listen, guys, the stock market's closed, okay? It's 1:38 p.m. on Saturday. We can't trade anything right now. But the reason I'm going over GNS is I'm telling you, it was not a coincidence that the best stock, well, one of the best stocks yesterday checked every one of these boxes. This is what you're going to do on Monday, right? Right? You want to spot the RGTI or the GNS or the IONQ, right? Or the TSAT, right? Hopefully some people are answering yes, okay? It's not a coincidence. Next, is it a former runner? Look at the 1 year, 1 day chart of GNS. A year ago right now, literally a year ago today, this thing went from 5 to 12. Former runner, okay? Back in January, went from 30 cents to $8, okay? 2 times in the last year, this thing has exploded higher. Does that sound like a former runner? Like, you might not know what the definition of former runner is. Like, if you've never heard the term former runner, do you think GNS is one? 5 to 12, 30 cents to 8. Recently, 20 cents to $1.40. Oh, she checks the box. She checks the box. Now, why is that significant? Stocks that have ran in the past tend to run again. GNS, I mean, I'm just looking at the 1-year chart. GNS has run many times over the last decade. Next is they're a catalyst, okay? So yes, GNS has some sketchy news about battling short sellers, and they also had a press release. So again, GNS checks that box, okay? They dropped, again, on the 11th, announces their annual report is available to short sellers. They also had an SEC filing. So double catalyst there. Plus they're in this battle with short sellers, blah, blah, blah. Next was there a whole $1.50 break? Let me show you something, guys. Again, this was the trade plan from noon yesterday, live on a trading webinar, okay? Live at noon, a webinar that you could be on, $1 was the entry. Does that sound like a whole $1.50 cross? And again, a stop loss of 92 cents, a goal of $1.20, so great risk to reward, and then check out what it did. Went to $1.43, 43% past that live trade signal. So guys, let me go to the poll. 91% are not currently getting what you want out of trading. Let's change that. Okay. Who thinks if they had the trade plan live on GNS, a box checker, they could have made money yesterday? So if you were on that webinar where we went over the entire thesis, we checked every single box, an entry, a stop loss, and a goal, who thinks you could have made money on GNS? Next, is there clear support to set risk? That was that 92 cent level. Next, we rate the quality of the float based on the chart. Based on the lower the float, the better. We rate the catalyst, and then we break through. So this upper section, guys, this is the blue box in the OODA loop. Remember the OODA loop? This gray section is the blue box. Let's go back there. Okay. So now GNS made it out. It made it out of the box. It's a go. Now, how do we implement our guidance and our control? Will you show us how to do a stop loss? Juan, you take the stop. Okay. So guys, a lot of you, I don't understand. And I know most of you are new. Guys, something you have to get through your head. And I don't say this, I'm a nice guy. Okay. But one of the biggest things you got to get through your head is there's only one thing you can control. Write this down. In trading, there is only one thing you can control. How much money you lose. That's the only thing you can control. So if you're asking how to take a stop loss, guess what? You buy GNS at $1 yesterday, it drops to 92 cents, you take the stop. It's really just that simple. Now, I know you might say, oh, well, Tim, guys, I gave it all right there. So Juan, let's say GNS was a failed trade and you bought it at $1. Where would you have stopped out? Where would you have taken the loss? 92 cents. Guys, it's not hard. Now, I know as a new trader, it might be hard, but each and every one of you have to understand losing is part of trading. We all agree, right? Guys, listen, I am going to teach you to trade the most highest probability setups with the best risk to reward. But I hope everyone understands this isn't like a 100% win rate, okay? I mean, let me ask you a question. Does anybody think a 100% win rate is even like, do you even think it's possible? Like, in any stretch of the imagination, is a 100% win rate possible? I hope everybody answers no. That's why we always have stops, and that's why we always stick to them. And that's why we have a defined risk to reward. So, that being said, GNS made it out of the go, no-go. Now we decide. The decision is based on this box. Okay. We map out our entry. We grade the setup. That's the decide. And then if the stock hits the levels, we trade it. That's the action. And that is the execution. Where did we enter? Where was the goal? Where was the stop? And what happened? Which happened? Like, so let me do this. So in this situation, we would have had a $1 entry. We had a 120 goal. We had a 92-cent stop. In this example, the goal hit. We now have our trade tracking. So now we know not only did we make money, okay? Not only did we make money on GNS, we now have a worksheet that allows us to look for the next setup, allows us to learn. So this worksheet allows us to review, track our data, and get better. And I know you guys are probably sick of me saying OODA loop, but that's how we loop through, and that's how we get the feedback. The feedback is your profit and loss. Notice each decision, each action has a feedback loop. Our feedback loop is based on our P&L as well as our sheets. Now we got 1% better. We made good trades. Remember, not all good trades are profitable trades. Not all good trades are profitable trades. If you find a stock that's in the artificial intelligence, quantum computing, earnings winner, you go through all the processes, and sometimes you get stopped. Listen, to me, if GNS had dropped to 92 cents and hit the stop, it would still have been a great trade. I know new traders look at me and they're like, you lost money. How can it be a good trade? Guys, losing's part of trading. Like sports. A sports analogy is a great analogy. Like if you miss a basket, does that mean you're a terrible basketball player? If you strike out at the plate, do you just quit? Like, think about it. You miss the basket, do you just quit? I suck, I'm done? No. You understand that missing baskets, striking out is part of the game. You don't just quit unless you're Cartman. Take your ball and go home, okay? South Park reference. No. What you do is you dust yourself off, you go back through the process, and you shoot your shots. That's what you do. And that's how you get consistently profitable over time. So, guys, that's the process. And I know it might seem simple, but it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't. So, guys, I'm going to wrap through some more. I'm going to drop a link. We're not done. That was kind of the meat of the presentation, but we're not done yet. So I just put a link in chat, and I'll also post it above. And what that link is, so like, and we're not done. We're not done. Guys, did you feel like you learned something today? 95% of you said you could have made money on GNS. Let me drop one more poll. Who got 1% better today? Now, we had 50 minutes together, and we're not done. We're not done. But going through the sheet, did you learn something about the criteria and why they're important? Did you learn what the hot sectors are to look at next week? Did you learn how to take a stop loss? Did you learn that losing is part of trading? Did you learn about the OODA loop and how that's applicable to trading? Did you understand the idea of go, no go, and not every stock is a trade? Just because something is gapping up doesn't mean it's a trade. Did you learn to only execute when key price levels are hit? So my friends, if you got 1% better, then what I would like to ask you to do is if you click that link in chat, you're going to be taken to a calendar that looks like this, okay? And this calendar allows you to book a time with a member of my team to upgrade to the Tim Sykes Challenge. Did I screw up my screen share? Or no, I just did something weird. There, okay, it looks right. At first I thought it looked weird. So when you click that link, you'll see that starting on Monday, you could book a time to speak with an advisor about joining me every single day in these types of webinars, okay? So my challenge to you is, if you got 1% better in 50 minutes, how much better do you think you could get if you were able to do this with me and other mentors every single day for a year? Let me look at the poll. 88% of you said you got 1% better today. Why not do that Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and September and October and November and January? Listen, I give you as much as I possibly can in the time allotted. I can't teach you everything about trading in 52 minutes. And I don't think, like no one expects that, right? No one expects me to just be able to teach you everything in 52 minutes. But if you got 1% better, click that link, talk to an advisor, and think about joining me every single trading day. Guys, I've been day trading 17 years now. 17 years. I've been mentoring for 8. Well, almost 8. I started mentoring traders in 2016. 7 years, okay? In 7 years, I have never missed a single day of a live stream, of a chat, of answering emails, every single day. I've done 6,000 live trading webinars. 6,000, guys. That's not an exaggeration. In 7 years. I show up every day to help you get 1% better. And we get better together. I'm a better trader now because of mentoring. So I truly believe in that iron sharpens iron idea. So I get better every day by helping you get better every day. So if that sounds attractive to you, hit that link, jump over to the calendar, book a time, and join me every day. So that link is in chat. There's also a link above. That stockstotrade.info/Bowen challenge will take you to the calendar. Book a time that works for you. Make sure you show up. Make sure you're there. And let's get 1% better a day every single day together. So, one of the biggest things that newer traders struggle with is emotions, okay? A lot of you said you take big losses. You don't want to stop out. We go over that every day. I advise you. I help you. Without a mentor, traders struggle to manage their emotions effectively, leading to poor decision making. Lack of feedback. Like, listen, again, back to trading on your own. You know, if you don't have feedback, you don't know what you're doing right and you don't know what you're doing wrong. Now, again, it's not impossible to do it on your own. Took me 3 to 4 years. Now, I found Tim Sykes in 2009. Remember, I started in 2006. I found Tim Sykes as a mentor in 2009. So, I don't know. If I hadn't found him, maybe it would have took me 6 years. Maybe I would have never done it. I was 3 years in working my butt off and still wasn't making any money. Isolation. This is huge. I'm jealous of you guys that these webinars exist. Like, this just didn't exist when I got started trading. There were no live webinars in 2006. And at the end of the day, all of these headaches that I lived through can be solved. These things can be fixed, okay? Isolation, overconfidence, lack of feedback, emotional discipline, risk management, time consuming, lack of structure, okay? There's a steep learning curve when it comes to trading, but we can fix all of these things. And what if I told you after today, you never have to trade alone again? It all starts with a strategy session. That calendar links you to a strategy session, and it's how every single one of Sykes Millionaire students began their path to wealth, me included. I started this in 2009. It's a private phone call with Sykes' team to help you create your personal plan for success, like how to get there. Glenn Peters, Tim Sykes Challenge student, 1.6 million in profits. Kyle Williams started out with a strategy call, 3.6 million in trading profits. Tim Grattani, 13 million in trading profits, started in the Tim Sykes Challenge. Matt Monaco, 2 million. Jack Kellogg, 12.5 million in trading profits. Is every student successful like that? No. But the people that work hard and the people that go all in, they're the ones that become the ones that crush it like that. Whoops. So here's just regular people, okay? Like, I know those are some of the most successful students, but here's just normal people. Tim and his staff are student focused and always available to help. Tim's an awesome guy. In addition to being a legendary trader, his dedication to students is truly amazing. I've been constantly watching, listening to video and webinars, and learn. I'm live trading. I'm working towards becoming a millionaire trader. Tim's 30+ millionaire students help to encourage and keep me focused on my millionaire goals. Understanding day trading, nobody better than Sykes. Remember, I started learning from Sykes in 2009, 3 to 4 years of unprofitability. I'm much younger there. This is when first time I met Sykes. This is a trading conference in Vegas at the Hard Rock Cafe. I would say probably 2009, 2010. A couple years later, sold my business, went into trading full time. A couple years later, developed stocks to trade, developed the Oracle algorithm, the Iris AI. My life changed this day. Literally. Like, Me that day and me today are just completely different. You know, like I'll be 50 and I am living the dream life. Like every day I get up inspired and ready to help others to get you 1% better. So my friends, if you would like to look back at a picture of you from years ago and talk about how your life is completely different, you're accomplishing your why, you're no longer a 1 or a 2 on the scale, all you got to do is click that link, book a strategy session, show up to it, and I'll be there for you every day. Sykes will be there. All the other mentors will be there. Live chat rooms, live webinars, recorded master classes, software, algorithms, everything you need. All right, my friends. Looks like 86%. I'll take it. I would like a higher ratio, but 86% say you got better today. I'll call it a win. If you want to get 1% better with me every day for a year, book a strategy session, join the team, and I'll be there for you every day. All right. Hope to see some of you Monday morning.